Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bald and Board Games. I'm Bald.
I'm bored.
We're going to talk to you about Money. We're going to do a review for you of Money by Allplay.
Yeah, so this is one of the set of 4 that we have obtained from Allplay. We've done unboxings, rulebook rundowns, and playthroughs of all 4 of them already. Now we're just going to walk through the reviews of each. So if you check out the video before this, you would have seen our review of Oddland. Feel free to watch that. Watch everything else for Oddland. It was a lot of fun of a game. That was a lot of fun. A lot of fun of a game. But now we're going to dig in.
Oh, what's it now?
To Money.
We're going to give me a wallet.
Don't got one. Pocket's empty.
Oh.
I don't carry cash.
Poor man.
I'm a millennial.
That's true. Neither do I. You know, we went out to a restaurant the other day. The valet only took cash. I want to be like, who are you? Like, where did you come from?
I refuse to valet, actually. I do not trust people driving a standard car in the city.
Yeah, I don't have a standard.
Yeah.
All right. So, if this is your first time watching our reviews, which we hope it isn't, but in case it is, here's a refresher, or not a refresher if you never watched it. This is how we do it. We do a review over 5 different categories for most games. Campaign games, there's a 6, which is story. This one doesn't have story, so obviously we aren't doing that. So, we start off with the storage, which is the box everything goes in. The rulebook, which is the rulebook. The components, which is what everything is made out of, not the design or look of them, but the actual material. Then we do design. So what everything looks like, the artwork, the iconography, how easy it is to understand, how fun is it to look at, all that stuff. And then lastly, we have gameplay. Is it fun to play? Is it clunky to play? All of that good jive. And then we take all of that stuff and we're going to be getting an average of it each individually to get an individual score for ourselves based on individual scores of those categories. And then we do the same thing for the official Bald and Board Game scores for each of the categories, and then to get the final score, which will determine if Money is a Bald and Board Games must play or a Bald and Board Games don't play, which you'll find at the end how that comes to be.
Yes.
So, starting with Storage.
Yeah, so storage here of Money. We got a box. As mentioned in the last video, Allplay's boxes are literally all the exact same size and shape. Obviously, the covers and all the artwork's a little different based on whatever it is, but they all make a nice square box, probably about 2 inches high, fits all the components. We do have the deluxe components, so we have these nice, fun tokens here for endgame scoring. Everything fits in the box. So you have a bunch of cards, they all stack together. Tokens go down the side. You have a player board or a player aid and a scoreboard that also fits at the bottom. I'm going to be consistent with Oddland because it's almost identical in terms of what goes in the box and give this a 5.
It's a 5.
You're going to be consistent, do the exact same thing you did last time.
So this one actually, I have to agree with the 5 because it is primarily cards. These tokens go in nicely next to the cards. So nothing is really a threat of being dinged or having to be put in any very specific way to get it to fit. Everything fits very nicely in here, feels secure, feels safe, isn't a hassle to get in or out. 5 from me.
Nice.
Yeah.
No lube required.
Oh my Lord, did it. All right, we're going to move on to the rulebook now.
Yeah, so next up is the rulebook, which for us in all of these games is the physical rulebook itself, as well as player aids that they may or may not provide. They did in this case.
Yeah, suspense. They may or may not have provided. Yeah, so very clear player aid. Place bids, player turns, round end. Very clear what you're doing in turn order. There's not a lot you're doing. The game cycles very quickly once you understand what you're doing. Then scoring on the backside as well. Very clear on, okay, here's how you score this, that, and those. Wonderful. The rulebook itself, also very clear. Bold text for each section. Different size text as well, so it's clear to see, okay, if I want to know about playing bids, I'm going here for my questions for that. For player turns, there it is, straightforward. Everything back here as well for scoring. And even like the board setup right here, image, which also is the component list at the same time. So condensed to the point, miraculous. 5 again.
Yeah, I'm also going to stay consistent. Very easy to understand. Nice clear setup. Player rate to exactly the next point. It gives you the round structure on one side, which within the first like round or two, you just instantly know what you're doing. And then the scoring on the back, super useful. I just kept glancing over, which so makes it not obvious where you're trying to search for scoring. It's just kind of there for you, easy to look and reference. So 5 as well.
Wonderful. Competence.
The competence or incompetence. No.
Oh no.
So all the components here. So again, what are all the components? There's 3 of them. You have cards, each different currencies. You have a little scorer's board up there, and you have your fun endgame tokens.
There's actually 4.
That board too, you're calling?
Yeah, they didn't have to move the board.
Sure. I don't think it would have changed my rating either way. The board is there. It doesn't need to be there. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
The point deducted for useless board.
Yeah. And really, I thought it was like you could have made like a little strip here and just had like cards underneath and be like market 1, market 2.
Yeah.
Or yeah, exactly. Yeah. That doesn't matter. It's fine. It does what it needs to do.
It does.
So scoreboard for component, solid. Wooden thing here. Cool looking back. We'll talk about that.
You keep saying wooden.
It's cardboard. It's cardboard.
It's not wooden. Yeah.
It's cardboard.
These are wooden.
Yeah. So cardboard with the dry erase finish there on top. These components, very sturdy. Doesn't really matter that they're sturdy now because you don't really use them that often other than endgame scoring.
It's true. I was looking at this again. I was like, did we do that wrong?
No,
Is it purely
not at all.
just say, hey, you have this?
It's just pure you have this. The cards is the ding again.
Yeah.
They are this typical, very base card, similar to a deck of playing cards, where the more you shuffle it, the more damage they will get eventually.
It's actually worse than a regular deck of playing cards because those
that's true.
come with a.
That's true. So, and then this game, literally 97% of the game is shuffling and then dealing these cards. You're not just shuffling the deck once. You have a thing of cards in your hand, so you're always moving cards around your hand. You're putting them down, you're grabbing them, you're sliding more down, you're dealing them out. So you're touching these cards way more than most other games you'd have cards in.
Yeah.
So because of that, I'm going to be brutal and give this a 2.5.
Woo!
Because literally everything about this game is the cards, and the cards are not great quality.
All right. Thought I was going to be the harsh one here. Damn. All right, so I'll start off with what I like. The deluxe components, which unfortunately are not part of the base game.
That's true.
And unfortunately, they're kind of useless. They help with calculating score, but
not really even.
you don't really need it because you have the scoreboard up there.
Like this did not help, and you because like you kept being like, oh, I get plus 200. I'm like, no, no, it just means you got over 200 score.
Exactly. If any of these confuse me more, like,
Yeah,
these are not needed at all because you can just lay your cards out in the orientation for the points.
Just like they're laid out right there on the left hand side of the board.
Yeah, exactly. So they're nice, they're pretty, but they're pointless. This board, again, solid, nice, but useless.
Yeah.
Not needed. You could literally have this on the table and say 4 cards are dealt one way, 4 are dealt the other way.
Yep.
Even like the rule of like, oh, deal all to 1 before you deal to 2.
Right.
Even that doesn't matter. It's all they have to say is like, make sure if you have fewer than enough cards to deal them out, just deal all to one side first and then all to the other side.
Yeah. No, just deal left to right.
Because they're random, so it doesn't matter. The cards. They are cheap in finish. They are thick cards, which is nice. They're not like a super cheap thin card. So they do hold their structure fairly well, but over time, the edges are going to get dinged because you're handling so much. You're putting them in between constantly other cards where the edges are going to get dinged. The card is going to get ruined. The very nice artwork is going to get ruined. So again, the linen finish ensures that does not happen as easily. And yes, you can get sleeves for these cards, but the reason why I won't get sleeves for these cards is because of this. Sleeved cards in a stack this big doubles in size and slides all over the place.
Yeah.
So no, sleeving these cards is not an option. And you shouldn't be required to buy extra things to protect your game either. The quality should be there. So I thought I was going to be harsh and give it a 2.5. But you beat me to it.
Hilarious.
So 2.5.
Alright, so next up is the design. So this is the physical look of everything. So look of all of the cards, the look of the tokens that we don't even need, the look of the scoreboard, and the player aids.
All right. Okay, so design. I like the artwork a lot. I think the artwork is a lot of fun. The back of the cards, I like that it has all the different characters that relate to the different currencies in their specific color in this collage. That's just very fun to look at. Even though this is pointless, I like the elegant design of this. The back of it as well. They put extra time into like putting the artwork on the back too. That wasn't needed, but is great. The tokens that are also pointless, but the artwork is wonderful. They took time to make this artwork really nice. On every single one of these cards, the artwork is so nice. Also, you have some where they're slightly different. So here, no monocle. 50, there's a monocle. 60, there's a monocle. And so there's just this increasing difference between these. Every single currency looks like the currency that it relates to. The animals...
I wonder if they like or dislike the present for putting him on with the monocle.
I have no idea.
The bull moose is Teddy.
Yeah. Oh, is he?
Teddy Roosevelt is known as the bull moose.
Yep. So the little pigeon here is just kind of fun. The score pad, even though it's just a score pad, is very nice on the backside as well. Like everything that design-wise that went into this, I think is phenomenal. These here as well, right? At first glance, there's like, oh, what they do give up? No, this is supposed to look like metal. Like these are supposed to be metal, like cards essentially. That's why they look like this
bars
way.
of silver, bars of gold. Yeah.
Exactly, and they function differently than the rest of the cards. All the other cards function the same in regard to the set collection. These ones are still kind of a set collection, but the way you get points for them is different. So I like that those look different as well. So for the design of everything, I give the design a 5.
Yeah, so I agree on most of the points. I love how they went above and beyond, not just picking the default picture on a currency for each of the countries that they used. As you can see here, again, we have US and we have the Swiss franc. What I do like on top of it, specifically as a finance guy, is Banco Nacional Suisse. It literally says the bank name there. That one probably says United States somewhere on it.
United States of America.
There we go. And I like how they stepped it up 1 point further, which comes into the gameplay as well, and put serial numbers on it.
Yeah, they did.
So obviously, a normal currency would have a serial number. So they not only just added serial numbers, but they added that and made it part of the gameplay. So I really liked how they did that. Mm-hmm. To Nick's point, the back of the card, super fun. It's all of the different animals kind of settled in there. There's the family photo on the back there. There's this fun picture here of everything connecting into one. I give it a 5.
All right. 5s. Alrighty. Lastly, we have the gameplay. How do you feel about the gameplay?
So, the way the gameplay works here is you have a hand of 6 cards, plus you're going to get this 0 pigeon card. So every player has this 0. This never gets taken away from you. You'll always have this. And then you get 6 other cards shuffled throughout the deck. The objective of the game is, as Nick mentioned, set collection. So you're trying to eventually collect everything. So you have a marketplace, and you're trying to bid cards to orientate turn order, then grab cards from the marketplace or from your opponent potentially to build sets in your hand. And you're always swapping in and out to try to risk cards you don't really need, but excuse me, your opponent may not need as well, and making it a whole thing. The biggest gripe I had, and I called this out in the playthrough, is as someone who loves math, in a 2-player game, this becomes very redundant. To the point, or very repetitive, not redundant, very repetitive to the point where there are 9 currencies, I believe, total. Mm-hmm. We take 1 out. There might be 10 currencies, we use 9. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. You take 1 of the currencies out. You shuffle all the rest, and then you make a deck. I know towards the end of the game, I know everything I have. I know that Nick has everything else that I don't have, other than what's on the table. So there gets to a point where I am already knowing if I'm going to win or lose. What I wish they did in the rules, instead of removing 1 full currency, is shuffling everything and just removing 9 random cards. That way, you won't necessarily be able to complete set collection, so you might be trying to go for something that doesn't even exist. It makes it significantly harder to count cards and know what your opponent has, And to me, it adds that fun variety, making every game a little different.
Yep.
So because of that, the gameplay was a lot of fun. I did enjoy the set collection. I love set collection games in general. I love that strategy aspect of what am I risking to maybe give to him, but know that I'm going to get something better potentially in return. So that did boost it up, but it's definitely not going to be at a perfect score because of how repetitive it is based on the way they wrote the instructions. So I'm going to give this a 4.
Give it a 4. All right. So I two on the screen.
What? Oh.
Yeah. I like the game. Thankfully, it plays quickly, but I think it could get old very quickly. Playing it over and over again. It's definitely one you can take out and play just to have like a moment of some fun. But when it comes to the set collection aspect, I agree taking out some random ones you don't know if you can complete a set or not. That would add a fun element to it because I knew from the beginning of the first game, I was like, oh, okay, so we're both going to get 2 complete sets.
Yeah.
Like most likely that's what's going to happen.
And that's why I made the strategy in the second game to avoid you getting complete sets. And I was just taking pieces of sets.
And I still got complete sets.
You got one. Yeah, one at a time.
But then everything else still bounces. So
yeah.
It's easy to get complete sets for the most part. You can usually gauge you're going to get at least one. The thing that I think is almost broken are these. Because in the second game, I was like, oh, every time I get a gold, I'm going to just go for the gold first of all.
Never give it
and then I'm going to hoard it.
Yeah.
And then hoarding it means I get an automatic 20 points at the end. And then additional per gold. And then if you have a set of 3, you get an additional 100 points on top of that.
Yeah, so it's instant 320 if you collect all 6.
Exactly. So it's a big chunk. And like I blew you out of the water in the second game.
Yeah. Only because of that, yeah.
Exactly.
Everything else was almost even.
And that was the only change of my plan really was, okay, take all the gold. And after that, I was like, okay, just try to get at least one complete set of something. And then try to make sure you can't really get a complete set of other things for the most part.
Yeah.
So the strategy, I think, is a little too easy here. Or too easy to see through kind of what people are doing and notice what they're taking and what they're not taking. Again, similar to some other games you played, what I would have liked, in addition to taking a certain number of cards out, is when we are dealing cards out here, the 4, alternated.
Oh, so you have some hidden that you don't know what it is.
So now, you don't really know what these 2 are. So you don't entirely have an idea what somebody else is collecting also.
I agree.
And then you don't know what you're getting. It's a kind of a grab bag situation here.
We should make our own rule book for this.
Right. And so then all right, you know what? I'm going to go for this because at least one of these I want. These 2 are in the same set, so I'll take those. And you get to your hand, you find out, holy shit, all of them happen to be
that's a
part of the same set. Incredible.
150 plus the 100 bonus.
But even that right there, like that would be a fun moment.
Yeah.
Because
like, then I know you have 130. I don't know you have all 3. Yeah.
Right. So little things like that, I think that there was probably some play testing that maybe they did. Maybe, they might have gone through and decided not to do it, but it feels like they didn't because it feels like the better way to play.
Yeah.
It feels like the more interesting way to play. It doesn't complicate it anymore. It just adds a little bit more of hidden information. And that's what's needed in this kind of game is hidden information.
I agree. As a card counter myself, I agree completely.
So I give this a 3. That was my score for the gameplay.
All right. So now, just like the rest of our review videos, we'll go through each category again and tell you the combined score and a little bullet point about why it is that way, and then tell you our final Baldin Board Games score and if this is a certified must play or certified don't play.
Oh, it's not going to make a difference. So that's 3.5 per game.
Oh, yeah, it is. That's my bad. It doesn't change anything.
No, it'll change on like the scorecard final. But alrighty. So for storage for money, again, it's this box. Everything fits perfectly in there. No issues with that. Cards fit nice. The useless components fit nice along with the cards. No worries there. Absolutely love it. I give it a 5. Board give it a 5. The Baldin Board Games final score for storage for money is a 5.
Yeah, rulebook. This is our second video for the reviews here. Oddland we just did. The rulebooks are all the same in terms of structure. Just a little fold out. Goes through everything very cleanly, very crisp. Player aids are super useful of what you have available to you in terms of turn structure and endgame scoring. We both gave this a 5. Therefore, Bald & Board Games gives this a 5 as well.
For components, a lot of useless components that are not needed. Other than the main thing that is needed is going to get beat up and feels relatively cheap. So I give it a 2.5. Board gave it a 2.5. So the overall score for Bald & Board Games is a 2.5 for components.
Yes. The thing they improved on was design. So the cool look of everything on all of these different cards, even though the components were useless here for the tokens, they do look cool. So Bald gave this a 5. I gave this a 5. Therefore, Bald & Board Games gives this a 5.
For gameplay, could have used some more suspense in multiple ways we talked about. I gave it a 3. Board gave it a 4. So overall, Bald & Board Games gives Money's gameplay a 3.5.
Let's change the name of the game.
No, apostrophe S.
Sure. All right. So final scores. So tallying up all 5 categories individually, Bald's final score was a 4 out of 5. Tallying up all 5 categories on my own side, my score as Board is a 4. Therefore, Bald & Board Games' final score for all 5 categories. Categories. Hey, we should have used that in that video.
Go back and redo it.
Bald & Board Games' score for all 5 categories for Money is a 4.
Say 4 one more time. Yes. So being a 4, it does make it a Bald & Board Games certified must play. To be a Bald & Board Games certified must play, the games have to reach a minimum score of at least 3 out of 5. This got a 4, which means it is above average, taking into account all those different categories. And its saving grace really was the box, the rule book, and the design. That really helped save this. If the gameplay was any worse, it would have definitely gotten a lower score, but the gameplay is fun. It definitely is. There's just some things that could have made it more fun. If you play it back to back to back to back to back.
It doesn't have longevity.
Exactly.
Right now.
It doesn't have a lot of replayability in quick succession.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Again, for those of you watching this, please check out our unboxing, rulebook rundown, and playthrough of Money if you haven't done so already.
No, it's Money!
That's so aggressive.
There's an exclamation point.
I'm not going to yell Money. Unless I win in Vegas and win $1 million, then I'll yell Money.
Okay,
I'll
Grandma.
record it too. So, if you're on YouTube, which you are, please check out the rest of our videos. Up next is Ruins, which is another one of all plays, a little box game.
And he's saying ruins, not ruins. Ruins. Yes. So definitely check out the review of Ruins. Go check out the playthrough of all of these. Money, Oddland, Vegas Strip, and Ruins as well. And then definitely check into our YouTube for other unboxings, rulebook rundowns, gameplays, aka playthroughs, and reviews as well. And if you want to know what we're doing and keep up to date with us, follow us on Instagram at Bald & Board Games. We do live stream every Thursday at 8 p.m. PST on Twitch, and every Saturday around 1 p.m. PST on Twitch as well. And Saturdays is where we're typically playing these crowdfunded games live as they come in. We just got in Leviathan Wild, so that'll be coming at some point.
Yes. And we have a fun theme next month. So
Yeah, we do.
next week on Instagram, check that out. We'll post a story of what's coming next.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Bald & Board Games for our review of Money by All Play. I'm Bald.
I'm bored.
We'll see you at the bank.